Hi there, welcome back to the dojo. This is Russ Leach. I am Comic Book Black Belt, and this is just a quick vlog. Seeing as I haven't been on for a little while, I've been very busy actually. So currently in the studio is storyboarding for a film that I'm working on. Hopefully I'll be able to give the title of that soon. In fact, actually I probably can, because it's up on IMDb. It's called Noontide. It's in pre-production at the present. Which is why I'm producing the storyboards for it, and I've also done some other artwork and hopefully some concept work for it as well. We'll see where that goes, but the storyboarding is going on, and that's taking up the vast majority of my time at the moment. I'm now finished on Draw the Marvel Way, so I've still got a few screen captures, speed draws to put up from Draw the Marvel Way, and I'll be able to do some colour breakdowns that I get back from James. But that work is now ended. It's been an end of an era. Actually, it's been 4 years I've been working on that, and it's been great fun. Really good fun. I scratched an itch with that, which is part of what I'm going to talk about in a short time. I got to draw loads and loads of my favourite Marvel superheroes and characters, and it was really good fun, and it was something that I'd always wanted to do. My favourite art book is Draw the Marvel Way by John Buscema and Stan Lee, and obviously I don't have a patch on them, and this book hasn't got a patch on them, but it is kind of an homage to them. It's following in their footsteps. I like the expression and use it quite often, standing on the shoulders of giants, and as comic strip artists we're all standing on the shoulders of giants. Those giants are the guys back in the day, those guys in the Marvel bullpen and early on in DC, and artists like John Buscema, Sal Buscema, Jim Starlin, way back further with Jack Kirby, moving forward, people like Neil Adams. But there are greats right the way through. More recently would be people like Brian Bolland, who I personally love. My art is absolutely nothing like his, but I just love his art. It's fantastic. But and there are numerous other artists. I'm terrible with names, but there are numerous other artists from that period that you could go back and look at and realise that they have shaped the way comic strip is presented these days, and the way that comic stories are told. And we really are standing on their shoulders. That's the way it works. And so to be involved in this book, to be actually a professional that's paid by, that's commissioned by Hachette, Panini and Marvel to produce these characters, was really great fun. It was a great privilege, and I absolutely loved every minute of it. It gave me some control as well over what I was doing, so I displayed them in the way that I wanted. I also got the opportunity to draw them sometimes in a Bronze Age way, which is my favourite period of comic strip, and it means a lot to have been part of that, and it's certainly something to put on my CV as well. So really pleased to have been part of that, and thankful and happy. But it has, bearing in mind the way things are now in the comic industry, and the turmoil, let's call it, that's going on at the moment, it's given me an opportunity to be part of that, to draw some of those characters, and not necessarily be part of the current editorial stream and the comics that are coming out at the moment, most of which are not my cup of tea, to be honest. There are a few that are really good, that I really enjoy, and it's mostly to do with the art, I have to say, because I just don't feel connected in the way that I do to Bronze Age art. But obviously, if Marvel were to say, hey, your style fits one of these books, absolutely, of course I'd draw for them. It would be a real highlight of a career. But I have been able to scratch that itch by drawing the characters I have for Draw the Marvel Way. So that's the end of an era for me, and absolutely loved every minute of it, and loved being able to draw those Marvel characters. But I saw something today, bearing in mind, like I say, the turmoil that's going on at the moment, not just in comic strip, but in the entertainment industry in general. I saw a video today that I'll be dropping the link in the description, and it was it was a remastering, or as a recreation. Let me just check on that. It was Star Wars, I presume SC38 means Scene 38, reimagined, and it's the fight between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi in the original Star Wars, and it was reimagined. It had some, I think it looked like it might have used some actors, but a lot of CGI tomfoolery, and it was incredibly dramatic. It really was a proper reimagining. I mean, you could imagine them just sticking that straight in the film over the top of the original fight. I know for purists that might sound awful, but it was kind of like the fight as you imagined it when you were a kid, because when you go back and look at the original fight, it's very staid, especially compared to the gymnastics that goes on with Jedis in films since then. But what it did do is it added real drama and real tension, and it did modernise it. And you got to think, why is it that independent studios or independent people, creators, can put that kind of thing together and impress me and other people that have watched the video so much, and yet Lucasfilm and other studios aren't doing it? And it's the same with my personal view of comics and how the Bronze Age, what the Bronze Age did. It wasn't just the art, it was fun stories that really engaged everybody. They were the everyman story. They weren't targeted at an audience, they were targeted at everybody. And I think what's happening is it's not, sometimes it's laid down as an agenda, that there are agendas in comics or in film, and there's no doubt there are agendas, and I don't like them at all. I think you should just entertain. However, sometimes I think it's the bean counters. Sometimes I think it's just down to money, and the executives get control. The executives have gotten control of Lucasfilm. The executives have gotten control of Marvel and all other kinds of properties and creative studios, and because of that, I mean, the MCU hasn't suffered yet, but maybe it will. Certainly I feel comics have suffered from it, and so because the executives take control, the creatives aren't given the freedom that they require, because it's all about being on message, on target, hitting a demographic or whatever, instead of just creating something. The reason that Star Wars worked was because it wasn't built as a trilogy. Yes, it was written as a trilogy. It was written as 9 stories, or at least mapped out as roughly as 9 stories. But the first one was made not knowing if they'd get a chance at a second. And they got the chance at the second because the first was so good. Nowadays, like, a film comes out and it's like, oh, it's part of a trilogy, because it's all about money. It's all about bums on seats. And yes, entertainment is, you have to fund it. But when is enough enough? And so I think that some of that is affecting comics and entertainment industry in general. And from that, which is part of why I say I've scratched the itch with Draw the Marvel Way. And again, I would love to do any of the Marvel characters in editorial. I would love to do them in sequential art, to get on a title, even small. I would love to do still. It's still a dream. But I have managed to draw those characters professionally, which is such a thing to have. It's really, I can't tell you what that means to me. And to be in a Draw the Marvel Way book, the homage to the people that I love so much and respect so much. But what I'm able to do now is seriously consider, well, instead of being a pro artist for someone else, I should maybe make my own books. I have been involved in producing books with teams. But now I've written 2 scripts for myself. At some point I will announce which one I'm going to produce. I think I know which one I'm going to produce, but I have to decide. So I've written my own scripts now, and I will be producing one of them as a book, and hopefully as an ongoing book. What I aim to do is make maybe 2 a year, and bring those to the audience in general, the comic buying audience, because it seems that now there's a real opportunity for independent creators to get out there and create new worlds and new brands, and new stories, because the old ones are suffering from corporatization. They're suffering from money and greed and a lack of creativity. Now I know that's easy to say on this side of it, and you look at the MCU and how creative that's been, but I think that's standing head and shoulders above so many other films out there and books and stories. And that's not to say there isn't creativity in here. All we need to do is look at the Star Wars franchise, and whatever you think about where the story's going, the quality of the cinematography, the CGI, the special effects, it's fantastic. But it's almost like throwing money at it and it's not hitting the mark. I just have this feeling that the IPs and stories, entertainment in general, is embedded too far into the money aspect of it and not enough about the creativity. And that's where indie comics, as a small part of that entertainment industry, that's where independent comics are now going to start to shine. They're going to start to be picked out. I mean, the figures for comics in the last year, for the first time, have shown crowdfunding books, independent books in that way, and that's making the point. It's making the point that there's a market out there. There's a market for us as independent creators to go and create our own books, our own stories, come up with our own worlds, just like George Lucas did with Star Wars. I know we're talking on a much smaller scale, but it's out there. It's out there for the audiences are hungry for creative environments, for new stories that are designed just to entertain and not to put bums on seats, and the money comes with it. I always felt about comic strip, about illustration, that you needed to be passionate about it. People say there's not a lot of money in it, and they're right to a certain degree, but I think it is one of those industries where if you're passionate and you push and you have the luck to network with the right people and you're good enough, then actually you can make a good living out of it. But it is a top percentage. I've been very fortunate to have had a career in other things. I've been a coder, I've been a designer and an art director, had my own businesses, and I've come to this party quite late. So I'm fortunate that I've been able to take some chances. So I'm doing okay, but it's difficult to be up there. I mean, those guys that are in the top tiers of the industry, they're doing okay, and there's a whole raft of people under them that aren't. But I think some of that is down to quality, to be honest. I think people need to be honest with themselves as to what quality of product they can produce. And the highest quality product, especially in an open market like the indie market is now facing, with things like Indiegogo and Kickstarter, the cream will definitely rise to the top. And you're seeing some superb books coming out on those platforms. And those platforms, those crowdfunding platforms, are where indie's going to shine. It's already doing it. And we're already seeing new IPs, new brands, new products, new stories, new creativity coming out, and people are flocking to it. So that's my comment on the day. The part of this was I wanted to say hi again, get back on camera, rather than just putting up the digital drawings and what have you, because I've been working quite long hours to do these storyboards. Also to mark, as it were, the end of my run on Draw the Marvel Way, and the opening of new opportunities. And that's, like I say, seeing that video of those guys putting together that scene for Star Wars just made me think, wow, this is what these guys can do. Why aren't Lucasfilm doing that? Why aren't they enticing those customers in? Why aren't they pulling the strings and giving the fans what they want? The reason probably is money. I think there is agenda involved, but so much of it is about cash. We need to free creativity up a bit more. Too much focus is on money and everything, to be honest. But maybe that's just the lefty in me. Anyway, we should all be out there making money out of our entertainment, because that's entertainment comics that we produce, the storyboards that we're involved with films and what have you, entertainment does make money. And that's a good thing, because it's an industry. It means people can enjoy themselves, they can get away from their everyday lives, and that's why there shouldn't be too much agenda involved in any entertainment. They should be able to get away from their everyday lives and immerse themselves in a book, a comic, a film, whatever it is, music, whatever it is, and just enjoy that. And that obviously comes at a price, and people should be paid well for the enjoyment they provide to other people, and that's why it's an industry. So anyway, like I say, that's me signing off now. Once again, thanks Panini, Marvel and Hachette for my time on Draw the Marvel Way. Thanks to Charles and Sabine, who I'll be talking more about soon, for my work with Noontide. I'm really enjoying the storyboarding. And like I say, I've got a book I've got 2 scripts, one specifically I think I'm going to be working on, and I'll announce that soon. The only downside of doing the storyboarding is that it does take up a lot of my time, so I'm going to have to find the appropriate moment to get on with the artwork for that book. But that's a good problem to have. So keep watching, keep creating, keep enjoying those books, those stories. Stories are so important to us all. And thanks for watching this video of me having a little rant about the creative industry. And I'll see you again in the dojo real soon. Remember, hit the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and take care out there. See you again. Bye bye. Thanks for watching Comic Book Black Belt. If you've enjoyed the content from this video, please like, share or subscribe, and come over and follow me on Twitter. It's been great having you in the dojo. See you again soon.